Good day. How is everyone today? It's Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. It appears I slept better last night. Hope you all did too. We, believe it or not, have looks like about a half an inch to an inch of snow out there today, which was quite the surprise to wake up to that. Snow in April. It's not a big storm. It's just a heavy squall, but it is nevertheless disappointing. But in any case, it's what we have. So thank you for being here. And I wanted to just briefly mention there's a video, which I think I mentioned before, an interview with that Tucker Carlson had with Father Ripperger, the exorcist. And it was interesting. They were talking about politicians and how they are they're attacked quite heavily by the demonic. And anyone who is in hot pursuit of the truth is going to be attacked by the demonic. And so it's very important to have your sacramental graces for protection against that. The interesting thing that I found, which I took a tip or hint or clue of action from him, Father Ripperger, was that we have the ability to call on the saints, and the demons are deathly afraid of the saints. And apparently in one of his exorcisms, Saint Joan of Arc was present in or at, now Father Ripperger couldn't see Saint Joan of Arc, but the demon could, and just was terrified and ran away and cowered in the corner at the sight of Saint Joan of Arc. So the inference here is that we have that gift of the saints to come to our aid, especially if we feel like we're under demonic attack. And I've been absolutely exercising that benefit lately. This past year has been a definite challenge for me with the court system, and continues, but I do see light. So the idea is that these corrupt people who are weak and they've succumbed to the demonic and corruption and do the bidding of the devil. We have powers to assist us, and so we ask the saints to intervene to chase away the demons that are influencing those who are in authority, like judges, lawyers, politicians, government entities, commissioners, etc. And we ask the saints to chase away their demons and to give them strength in order to do what is right. All right. Another thing that which makes sense to me was we had found out in 2008, I think it was, with the corruption in the mortgage industry, where they were securitizing notes. That industry of derivative abuse, that particular type of derivative abuse, was taken down. It was uncovered that they were pooling these mortgage notes and investing in them to the detriment of the people. They're doing the same thing again in the court system. They just move from one to another. And now they've created, and it's been discovered that they've been creating derivatives and pooling them by the use of court cases. And there's the CRIS system, CRIS, which the court uses which is hidden, which the court uses to make money off of the people via their court cases. So that is the next domino to fall. The court system, the judicial system is going to collapse just like the mortgage industry did back in 2008. This one, and again, let's call on the saints to intervene and stop the abuses in that arena. All right, let's get started with good day morning prayers, and thank you for being here. It looks like my granddaughter stole my... Oh, there it is. Okay. She loves to move things around. Yesterday, she was playing with my wood stove ash bucket behind me. I thought she was doing all sorts of nice things and ended up having ashes all over my couch. In nomine Dei, matronam nostra, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Let us place ourselves in the presence of the most holy divine family, and in Catholic contemplation, humbly venerate the most holy Trinitarian Theophany. Most holy and venerable Trinity, one divine family, I believe that thou art here present. I venerate thee with the deepest humility. I render to thee with my whole heart the homage which is due to thee. O most holy divine family, relying on thine infinite goodness and promises, I hope to obtain pardon of my sins, the help of thy grace, and life everlasting, through the merits of Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Matronam Nostrae. O most holy divine family, I love thee above all things with my whole heart and soul, because thou art all good and worthy of all love. I love my neighbor as myself for love of thee, and I forgive all who have injured me, and ask pardon of all whom I have injured. Let us thank the most holy divine family for the many graces that we receive, and offer ourselves and our sufferings up to heaven, and for the souls in purgatory. O most holy divine family, I most humbly thank thee for all the favors thou hast bestowed upon me to the present moment. It is again thanks to thy bounty that I should live to see this day, and I desire to employ it solely in thy service. I consecrate to thee all my thoughts, words, actions, and sufferings of this day. Sanctify them, that there may be none that is not animated by thy love, or that would not tend to thy greater glory. Let us make a firm resolution to avoid evil and to do good, and let us beg of the most holy divine family the graces which are necessary to us. O most holy divine family, thou knowest my weakness, and that I am unable to do anything good without the help of thy grace. Deny me not thy grace, O God, proportionate to my necessities. Give me strength to avoid everything which thou forbiddest, to practice the good which thou hast commanded, and enable me patiently to bear all the trials which it may please thee to send me. O Dea Matronam Nostrae, a Holy Mother of God, I place myself under thy protection. I throw myself with confidence into the arms of thy compassion. Be to me, O Mother of Mercy, my refuge in distress, my consolation in suffering, now and at the hour of my death. O most holy divine family, as envisioned by St. Lucia as the most holy Trinitarian Theophany, Dea Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. I am heartily sorry for having offended thee, and I detest all my sins because I dread the loss of heaven and the pains of hell. But most of all, because they offend thee, O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, who are all good and deserving of all my love. I firmly resolve, with the help of thy grace, to confess my sins, to do penance, and to amend my life. In nomine Dei, matronam nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Deum vobiscum, et quoque apud te. Oremus. Fidelium Deum Iesum Christum, omnium conditor et redemptor animabus, famalorum famrogetorum, remissionum conctorum, tribue peccatorum, ut indulgentiam quam semper obtuberunt, pi supplicationibus consequentor. Qui tecum vivit reinat in una divina familia, qui erat est et edit in aeternum. Suscipe Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum hoc maculatum hostiam, quam ego indinius famalus tuus offedi tibi Deum eum verum, pro enumeribus peccatis et offensionibus, et negligentiis meis, et pro omnibus circumstantibus, sed pro omnibus fidelibus catholicorum vivis atque defunctis ut mihi et idis proficiat salutem. Deum qui humanae substantia dignitate mirabilita condidisi et mirabilis reformarsi de nubis piruis atque tu in mysterium, eis divinitatis esse consortis qui militatis nostrae, fiat idinatis is particeps Deum Iesum Christum Filium, qui tecum vivit et reinat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Offerimus tibi Deum calicem salutaris tuum depecantis clementium, ut conspecto divina majestatis tuae pro nostra totius mundi salute, cum adoris suavitatis ascendat. In spiritu humilitatis et in animo contritus suscipiamur te Deum Iesum Christum, et sec fiat sacrificium nostrum et conspecto tu hodie, uplaciat tibi Deum matronam nostra et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Veni sanctificator. Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, et sanctificite blata prosequendo, et accepere hoc sacrificium tua sanctum nomini praeparatum. Suscipe Sancta Trinitas Concobrationum cum tibi afferimus a memoriam passionis, resurrectionis et discensionis Deum Iesum Christum, et in honoram Deum matronam nostrae et Papa Peter Sanctorum et Istorum et omnium Sanctorum, ut idis proficiat ad honorem nobis autem et salutem et idi pro nobis intercedere de inter in caelis, quorum amorem agimus in tedis, per indum Christum Deum nostrum. Orate ut meam equestrum sacrificium acceptabile fiat apud Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Suscipiat Deum Iesum Christum sacrificium de manibus tuis et laudem et gloriam nominis sui ad utilitatem quoque nostrum totiusque ecclesiae suae sanctae. Deum vobiscum, quoque apud te, sursum corda habemus ad Deum. Gratias agamus Deum nostrum, dignum et justum est. De egito gloriam Mater Pater, Deum Matronam Nostrae, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per Deum Iesum Christum Filium Tuum, Deum Nostrae, supplices, rogamus ac petimus, uti accepta habeas et sanctificas. Haec sanctam sacrificiam ilibata, in primis quae tibi afferimus, pro ecclesiam tuam sanctam catholicam, quam pacificari custodiri ad honore et regere, digneris tot orbiterarum atque catholicae. Memento Deum famalorum famrogetorum. We pray for the sick and the suffering. We especially pray for Paulie, Shelley, Teresa, Cody, Ben, Jenny, Emily, Katie, Kathy, Marie Josephina Mose, Marilyn, Mark Jr., Letitia, Mindy, Todd, Clarette, and Dennis, the Stevenson family, Barbara Santa Croce, Benedict, James, Robert, Gregory, Adam, Malachi, and Patrick Santa Croce, the Williams, Tafur, and Began families, Michaela McLarnon and family, the Kendrick, Shorten, Nolan, Dasco, Kane, Nye, Wolf, Camerano, and Pohoski families, and all their good intentions. We pray for an end to all governmental allowance or sanctioning of abortion, transgenderism, transhumanism, child trafficking, child abuse of any kind, anywhere, place, or time. Pray for an end to all organ harvesting. We pray for the establishment of a Catholic monarchy with a sound Catholic system of labor, human value, and medium of exchange. where truth is paramount, facts matter. We pray that courageous men step forward as leaders of this Catholic society. We pray for the elimination of all harmful radiation waves in our air and in our homes. We ask and pray for the gift of discernment and for an increase in the knowledge and practice of the Catholic virtues. We ask for a reversal of the feminist ideology and a return to godly femininity, that all quote-unquote gay marriage, all pornography in the OnlyFans platform be stopped immediately. We ask men and women to come to understand that raising traditional Catholic families is the high ideal and a necessity for sustaining a Catholic world filled with peace. We ask for the conversion of all sinners trapped in a state of mortal sin, especially the ignorant. We ask for the effects of the satanic black mass and ritual held on June 29, 1963, between the Vatican and the Masonic Lodge in South Carolina be reversed and any lingering spells destroyed. Please remove all forms of Freemasonry and its tentacles that are throughout the lands and guide the members into the submission of the Most Holy Trinitarian Theophany to correct baptism and confession. Give them courage to resist evil. Strengthen their conscience. Please nullify any attempts to establish anti-Semitism, propaganda into any rules, codes, laws, statutes, or policies. We ask the Most Holy Trinity that all Catholics be given the grace to be accountable, so that we may each have a holy hatred for sensuality, as St. Catherine of Siena encouraged, a repentant shame for the offenses we have committed and continue to commit against thee, and a deep love of thee and of souls, so much that we desire nothing more than to be of service to thee in every moment of our lives. We also ask that Judge Patrick Ryan come out of the deceit and claim back his soul for the Catholic faith. Et omnium circumstantiam quorum tibi fides cognita est et nota devotio pro quibus tibi feremus, veruque tibi offrent hoc sacrificium laudis pro se suisque omnibus, pro redemptione animarum suarum pro spe salutis et equanimitatis suae. Tibi credunt vota sua aeterno Deum vivo et vero. Communicantes et memorantes in primis gloriosae, semper Deum maternam nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et beatorum martyrium tuorum Papa Sancta Petri, et Sancti Lucia, et Sancti Jacinta, Sancti Francisco, Sancti Juan Diego. Et omnium tuorum quorum meritis praecibusque concedasut in omnibus protectionis tuae monium exilio periendum Christum Deum nostrum, quam oblationem tu Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum in omnibum, consecratum acceptabilem que fecere dineris ut nobis corpum, et sanguim fiat dedictissimi filium tuum Deum Iesum Christum, qui pridie, quam pateretor recepit panem in sanctis aquarabilis manus suas, et derivatis oculis in caelamate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum sumum potentem tibi gratias agens, consecravit, frege dedique lumis sui dicens accipite et mandocate ex hoc omnes. Hoc est enim corpus meum. Simile modo postquam ceremoni est ecipenser hunc preclarum calicem in sanctis aquarabilis manus suas, idem tibi gratias agens Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, consecrave dedique luminis sui dicens accipite et bibite ex omnes. Hic est enim calix sanguinis mei, mysterium fidei, quae pro nobis et pro multis effundetur in remissione peccatorum. Aequodescum proficeritis in non facetis. Unde et memoris Deum nos servitui, sed plebs tua sancta justem Christum filium tuum Deum nostrae, tam beata passionis nec non et in felis resurrectionis, sed et in caelos gloriosa escensionis afferimus, proclarae maiestati tui de tuis donis actatis, supra quae propitio ac sereno utur respicieri digneris. Supplices te ragamus Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum ibi hec preferibus manus tuum ut quod ex hoc artaris participatione sacrosanctum Deum Filium tuum, corpus et sanguinem sensenimus omni sanctificatione calesia gratia Dei per amor periendum Christum Deum nostrae. We pray for those who have died, and we especially pray for Carolyn Sider, for whom this Mass is being offered. Ipsis Deum et omnibus in Christum quiscentibus locum refegeri educis et pacis, ut indar geste proclamor periendum Christum Deum nostrum, per cum hic omnia Deum Iesum Christum semper bona creas, sanctificas, vivicas, consecratis et praestas nobis. Per ipsum et cum ipso et in ipso, est tibi Deum Matrum omnipotenti in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, omnis honor et gloria. Ave Dea, Matronam nostrae, gratia plena Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum tecum, sancta tua in mulier. Dea Matronam nostrae, Materam Deum Iesum Christum, misericordia nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Libera nos quae sumus Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum ab omnibus malis, praeteritis, praesentibus et futuris et intercedente beata gloriosa semper Deum Matronam nostrae. Cum Papa Petrum Sanctorum et omnibus sanctis, da propitias pacem in diebus nostris. Ut opi misericordiae tuae aduiti et peccato, simus semper liberi et ab omni perturbatione securi. Periendum Deum nostrum Iesum Christum Filium tuum Deum nostrum, qui degem vivit et reinat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per aeternam. Pax Deum Iesum Christum sit semper vobiscum et quoque apotei. Haec mixtio consecratio copris et sanguis Deum Iesum Christum fiat ecipientibus nobis in ad salutem aeternam. Pax tecum et quoque apotei. Deum Iesum Christum, qui ex voluntate Deum Matronam nostra, et qua prante Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per mortem tuam mundum vivificasti, libera me per hoc sacro sanctum corpus et sanguinum tuum ab omnibus iniquitatibus meis et universis malis, et fac me tui semper in halare mandatis, et num cum separare permittas, qui cum eodem Deum Matronam nostra et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum vivis et reinam aeternam. Perceptio corporis tui Deum Iesum Christum, quod ego indinius sumere praesumo, non mihi proveniat in idicum condonationem, sed pro tu pietate prosit mihi ad tutum mentum mentis corporis et ad medelam percipiendam, qui vivis reinas cum Deum Patronum Nostrae in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, in panem celestum ecipiem et nomen Deum Iesum Christum invocabo. Deum Patronum Nostrum non sundinius, ut intercedete meis in tante riguardos sampranum mea. Deum Iesum Christum non sundinius, ut intercedete meis in tante riguardos sampranum mea. Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum non sundinius, ut intercedete meis in tante riguardos sampranum mea. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima mea. Quidr turbum Deum Iesum Christum promnibus quaedra turbut mihi, calicem salutaris ecibiem et nomen Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum invocabo. Laudans invocabo Deum Patronum Nostri et ab inimicis mei salvosero. Sanguis Deum Nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima meam. Corpus Deum Nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima meam. Quodore subsumus Deum Iesum Christum puramente capiam et setum mundo et tempora fiat nobis remedium sempiternum. Corpus tuum Deum Iesum Christum, quod siet sanguis quem potari heriat visceribus meis apraesta, ut in me non remaniat scella la macula quem purat sancta reficerunt sacramenta. Deum Obiscum, quoque apud. Oremus. Animabus quesumus Deum Iesum Christum, famalorum getorum, oratio proficiat supplicantium ut eas et peccatis omnibus exuas, et tuae redemptionis facies esse participes, qui tecum vivit et reinat in una divina familia, qui erat est et edit in aeternum. Deum Obiscum, et quoque apud te. Ite mise est, Deum gratia. Progettivi sancta Trinitam obsequium servitutis mea praesta ut sacrificium corporis Tuae Majestatis in nos autoritibus et captava de miquete omnibus pro quibus idu doctoris sit miserante publicabe et per presbyterium nostrum. Sanctificae vos omnipotens Deum, Deum matronam nostra et Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gratias. O most holy divine family, I believe, I venerate, I hope, and I love thee. I beg of thee pardon for those who do not believe, do not venerate, do not hope, and do not love thee. Most holy Trinitarian Theophany, Deam Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, I venerate thee profoundly, and I offer to thee the most precious body, blood, soul, and divinity of Deum Iesum Christum, present here in reparation for the outrages, sacrileges, and indifference by which he himself is offended, and through the infinite merits of his most sacred heart and the immaculate heart of Deam Matronam Nostrae, I beg of thee the conversion of poor sinners. In nomine Deum Matronam Nostrae, Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gratias. And we definitely pray for the conversion of poor sinners in the court system and in the political arena. Hello, Upiano, how are you? It's evening time. Great. Thank you for being here. And we continue with Resurrection Week. That's why I continue to wear the extra special chasuble and garments. Thank you for being here again and for your support. Please go and sanctify all those who meet. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.